Now it's time to take a look at the bosses the first 3D Zelda game had to offer. There are definitely some bosses that will stick to your mind forever, and we hope you will enjoy our list here. We're the TheOwnersOfTriforce, and here is our boss ranking. Many people might like Morpha, but we don't. After finding out that the water in Sora's domain had frozen over, and we had finally gone through the whole water temple, we were expecting something big. At least we hoped it would be something good. And when you get to see everything underwater through the boss's eyes, we expected something exciting and awesome. What the f***? A blue gelatic tentacle coming up from the water with a red little ball inside. It was so disappointing by the first sight, and it doesn't exactly get any better with the fight itself. It's long and repetitive, because all you have to do is wait for that little thing to go into one of the tentacles, and you have to use your long shot to get it out and then hit it with your sword. That's all. While waiting for it to do that, you also have to avoid the other tentacles while they try to grab you. Since the danger wasn't that high to begin with, they seemed to add spikes on the walls to make it harder. But they didn't really do that. Gohma, the suckiest boss in the game. But you know what? It just isn't as bad as Morpha in our minds. She is incredibly easy, but it's the first boss. We can accept that. Morpha was the 6th boss in the game, and we expected a lot more out of it. Gohma is so easy that people actually have beaten her in under 10 seconds. But we liked the atmosphere in that dark room and with that weird and kinda scary monster inside of it. We thought that she was a more fitting boss to the situation and the environment that she was in. Plus that she's got a couple of phases. One where she's to attack you, and one where she's up in the ceiling dropping eggs. That's why she's not at the very bottom. The second boss in the game was disappointing when it comes to comparing the fight itself to the appearance of Dodongo. Because it looks pretty cool. You can't beat him as fast as you can with Gohma, so there's a point there, even though they're pretty much at the same level of difficulty. Another thing though, is the way he dies. Now that was pretty cool. Now, I'm not gonna take anything from the fight itself, because this fight contains 2 or 3 phases. The first thing you have to do is cut those 3 things up there, because then it will move around by itself and let out those jellyfish thingies. After eliminating them, or maybe attacking the center of the whole thing, we actually don't know, another round of jellyfish thingies will come out. This is actually an intense battle, and the boss itself fits with the environment since we're inside a big fish. But that's the problem we have. We hate Lord Jabba Jabba's belly. We really do. And we find it so weird that we, in a Zelda game, are fighting something biological like this. As much as I dislike the name Bongo Bongo, this boss was cool. It might be easy for many, like ourselves, but it's damn stressful too. I always feel like I'm in a hurry when I attack him, because he's always after you. It makes good use of the lens of truth, and the appearance of this boss is pretty freaky too. 2 loose hands and a torso without a head hanging upside down from the dark area there. We just feel that this boss is better than the ones we've already seen. When I first heard about a dragon being resurrected the first time I played this game, I was in awe. Though I got a bit disappointed when I saw it was a Chinese dragon. I just don't think they're as cool as the traditional European dragons. Still, I've learned to like it. Volvagia was resurrected and Ganondorf had locked up many Gordons inside the fire temple, which he was gonna feed to the dragon. Now that's a good enough reason for us to kill it. Many people don't like this fight because it's like a game of whack-a-mole. I enjoyed smashing a hammer to its face, so I was fine with it. He wasn't exactly just popping up everywhere, and it could very well hurt you a lot if you were too slow to hit it. We learned in the 3DS remake that you could shoot arrows to the head of it while it was in the air because we noticed the glowing mask. We forgot to try that out in this version though, so we don't know if that was possible then. We will let you, the viewers, give an answer to that, if you have one. We felt we had to kill Volvagia, as many of our brothers' lives were on the line. Great boss, in other words. As a part of the last boss, Ganondorf wasn't exactly impressive when it comes to the fight. A game of Dead Man's Volley had already been used in Ocarina of Time before this encounter, and that's pretty much all there was to it. Even though being on the top floor of the castle, finding Ganondorf playing the organ, the battle music and all that was good, the fight was just the same as we had seen before. Except that you had to use light arrows, of course. And that he had another spell up his sleeve that actually made this fight more awesome. But not awesome enough to make it to the top 3. The first game of Dead Man's Volley happens inside the Force Temple, but before that you fight Phantom Ganon riding on a horse through pictures. This was actually very clever. There are 6 paintings on the walls around you, and he'll come riding on his horse towards you. He'll come from 2 pictures, whereas one of them is fake. The fake one will just turn around after coming very close, while the real one will use a little time to come through a portal. If you don't manage to shoot an arrow at him, you should be quick to go as far away from the center as possible because he will throw something like an electrical ball that will expand all over the floor. The second part is just like the fight against Ganondorf that we explained. This tennis game was worse than the one against Ganondorf himself, but the whole fight against Phantom Ganon was still better. A couple of witches that happened to be Ganondorf's circuit mothers, in addition to kidnapping the Sage's spirit, was enough motivation for us to fight them. With Trinax from A Link to the Past being the first, Twinrova was the second boss in the series to be a fight with the elements of ice and fire. And it was awesome. To defeat them, you had to use the mirror shield to reflect one of the spells to make it hit the other one. Reflect the fire against the ice witch, then the ice against the fire witch. After some hits with this, Kuma and Kotaka will merge together to one giant woman who will use either the ice or fire rod to shoot a beam against you. This time you won't reflect the spells, but charge your shield up with them. Make the same element hit your shield 3 times and shoot it all at her. You also have to be very careful and not let the beams hit you or the floor very near you, because it will cover up a huge part of the platform and do a lot of damage. In both phases actually. Even though this fight is a bit long because of all the waiting, the fight was really clever and it felt so awesome to fight these. We absolutely loved it. There is no doubt. This fight is iconic. Number 1 is Ganon. First of all, this is the most awesome form Ganon has taken in any Zelda game. Seeing Ganondorf transform himself into this monster, rising up while 2 swords suddenly form in his hands, is just so damn awesome. Yeah, I know, I use awesome a lot. I have seen this fight many times on YouTube. I've heard the song many times too. But when you play this game and you fight him yourself, it's something completely different. The ruins around you, the wall of fire, the dark skies and lightning, the size of Ganon, Zelda's scream when you get hit, the noises Ganon makes, how far he can knock you away, the music, it's just so incredible. Though it seems a bit weird that his only weak point throughout the whole fight is his tail. But the battle is kinda divided into 2 phases anyway, because the first thing that happens is that it knocks the Master Sword right out of your hand. so you have to find another way to attack him for a while. And when you do get the Master Sword back, boy are you up for one hell of a finish. No boss on this list could top one of the most memorable bosses in video game history.